Welcome back, SethBling here, and today I want to show you a new Super Mario World speedrun world record that I achieved last night. This is the world record for starting a new game and killing Bowser and triggering the credits. So this category is kind of like halfway in between the credits warp category, also known as 0 exit, and 11 exit, which is the route where you go through Star World and go into Bowser's Castle and beat the game pretty much normally. There's some glitches used, but it's pretty much normal. The name for this category was 3 exit, and that's because the previous world record holder for this category, which was Dots Are Cool, took about 7 minutes and 46 seconds to beat the game, to kill Bowser, that is. And to do that, his route required him to complete 3 exits. This category, I guess, now has a new name, since the world record is now only requiring 2 exits. This speedrun, I only complete 2 exits. But really, I think it should probably have a new name overall, something like Kill Bowser or something like that. I don't know. I'm not the one in charge of naming categories. Anyway, so I want to point out that this route was created by Mr. Cheese. It's very similar to the route for the Super Mario World Credits Warp Marathon Safe version, which we ran at AGDQ 2016. It's modified, though. The basic premise of this speedrun is that to complete the speedrun, basically you set up this glitch which runs arbitrary code. That is, it runs a few bytes of processor instructions, and in the credits warp, what those instructions did is they changed a memory value which corresponds to the game's game mode. And it changed it from the game mode that corresponds to you're playing a level right now to the game mode that says you're in the credits. And so this setup is pretty similar to that, except that instead of changing the game's game mode, it changes the overworld position of Super Mario to Bowser's back door. So here you're seeing me complete the first glitchy part of the run. You might have already noticed there were 2 Yoshis. And now Mario is red and weird looking. This will look familiar to you if you've seen the Marathon Safe version of the credits warp before. Basically what's going on here is we're executing a glitch called power-up incrementation, where Mario's power-up state is being increased by 1 each time we do this glitch. And normally Mario's power-up state is 0, 1, 2, or 3, which corresponds to small, big, cape, or fire Mario. In this case, we're going past 3 to 4, 5, and then 6. And in order for the glitch to work, Mario has to be in power-up state 6. It's a little complicated how it works, but basically you duplicate a Yoshi block to get 2 Yoshis, and then you get basically a shell in the visible Yoshi's mouth and kill that Yoshi, and then you get on the invisible Yoshi, which becomes visible. Then it's got a null sprite in its mouth, and if you spit that out on a brown platform in the right X coordinate, it does the power-up incrementation. So I did that 3 times, as you saw, and I dismounted Yoshi because I actually don't want to be riding Yoshi while I'm in the beginning of this level, and that's kind of for technical reasons. It's because Yoshi needs to be in the correct sprite slot, which will only really mean something if you're if you're really into the technicals of how Mario works. But basically I need to get Yoshi in sprite slot 7, and so I do this screen scroll and shell trick in order to do that. And so I go pick up Yoshi. Also important to note is I do grab the midway point in this level, which means when I warp to Bowser's back door, then I will actually start it at the midway point, which is very useful. It means I don't have to go through the whole dark room. It doesn't save that much time, but it's still useful. Okay, here I'm going to grab a bunch of shells and spit them out. And I'm spitting them out in very, very precise X coordinates. This has to be pixel perfect. If I'm off by 1 pixel, the whole thing does not work on any of these shell spits. And by spitting them out, I am writing what amounts to processor instructions in the sprite X coordinate table. There's a table, there's 12 slots basically for the 12 sprites that can appear on the screen at a time. A sprite is something like a shell or a mushroom. In this case, they're shells, or Yoshi is also a sprite. So I'm writing very specific values within this X coordinate table, and later on, by executing the glitch that requires Mario to be in power-up state 6, I will execute all those as instructions. So when Mario's in power-up state 6 and he collects a 1-up, normally it would crash the game, but we're able to manipulate various things in memory, which cause it, instead of crashing the game, to execute that stuff as code. Yoshi actually also has to be in a pixel-perfect location, as he is the last instruction in that arbitrary code execution setup. So here I collect that 1-up, which normally would crash, but since we've manipulated everything correctly, it changes Mario's overworld X and Y coordinates, so that instead of being in Yoshi's Island 1, he's in Bowser's backdoor. Here I intentionally take damage because I need to be small Mario. I'm going to achieve the Cloud glitch, which many of you have seen before in my 11 exit speedruns, where I basically collect... okay, it's a little hard to explain, but I eat a chuck, a charging chuck, which you normally can't do, and it gives you a cloud in your item box. And then here you can see I just start select out of the level and re-enter the level, and we're in Bowser's Castle. The back door of Bowser's Castle. Again, I got the midway points, so I get to start at the midway points in Bowser's back door. Okay, so here we're in the Bowser fight. Many of you will have seen the Cloud version of this fight before. I can't just immediately get in the Cloud. I actually have to wait for Bowser to toss out a Mecha Koopa before I'm able to get in. But once he tosses that out, I can use that to get into the Cloud. And the cool thing is the Cloud glitches out the Bowser fight. When the Cloud goes off the left side of the screen, the X coordinate of the Cloud becomes 0. And it turns out that the programmers of Super Mario World wanted to save space, so they reused some memory values. And one of the memory values they reused was the X coordinate of the Cloud is also used as the countdown timer for Bowser's AI. So if you get the Cloud off the left side of the screen, the X coordinate is 0, so the countdown timer for Bowser's AI also becomes 0. And so you force Bowser to kind of skip his next action. And so by doing this, you can cut off a lot of time from the Bowser fight, and that's why I went through the trouble of getting the Cloud. Here's the last hit. I kind of botched a couple things in this fight, but it was good enough, and I achieved the new world record time, 6 minutes 55.0 seconds. It's a pretty cool speedrun that showcases a lot of the various glitches. You can see I was very relieved because this came at the end of a 9-hour live stream. I almost never live stream for 9 hours, so I was very relieved to get what I consider a pretty decent time. Definitely more time could be shaved off of this. Probably another 10 seconds wouldn't be that hard to cut off. Another thing that I will point out here that I didn't mention earlier is that this route does require you to have 2 multi-taps and 3 controllers plugged in. A multi-tap is a converter which basically lets you plug in 4 controllers into a single port. It was intended to let you play 5-player games on the Super Nintendo. Here we use it for much glitchier purposes. If you're interested in reading more about the technicals of how this works, I've included various resources in the video description so you can read about it at a technical level. Also, I think I'll include a video that you can watch. It'll explain how some of this stuff works. But it's a cool little run, and again, it's a world record in a category that no one really cares about. But I had fun trying to figure out how to do this, trying to route basically figure out the route to do this speedrun relatively quickly. I had to figure out whether it was faster to get the Cloud or not, and all that stuff. So probably with a faster route, it could be done a little bit better, and quite a bit faster, maybe another 30 seconds or something. I don't really know, but I'm just speculating. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.